Hello, it's the 30th of March 2021, and this is my third video in my annual update of my migraine journey. I've posted the other two a year apart from each other, same with this one, about my ongoing self-investigation into what gives me my migraines. So, I'm now 54, and I had migraines since I was about 15. Chronic migraine for a week, every month, every year. So it kind of came to a head. The intensity was growing a couple of years ago, and I'd been referred to a neurologist at the local hospital, and who got me to start doing a food diary, and that was the start of the journey. So what I want to do today is do a quick review of the first 2 years, and then to talk around what I've done lately, new things I've tried, things I've modified. And I think, well, I know it's working. The evidence says it's working. I have not had a full-on rolling around in a ball of sweat, throwing up migraine in over a year. Quite a lot of headaches, half a triptan or a couple of cocodamols, or jumping in the river, all seem to help or get rid of it. So, this video expands a little bit into mental health, into general well-being, and preventative techniques. But first of all, I just want to recap. So 2 years ago, I was in that post-migraine euphoria of having identified a real trigger food, which was mushrooms. That really started to make me think what I'm putting in myself is possibly what's causing the migraine. So the neurologist got me to do a food diary. Within a week, I had identified mushrooms were by far a huge trigger. I'd already known that processed orange, chocolate, alcohol were triggers. But I hadn't factored in mushroom. And it's funny, those things, chocolate, alcohol, mushrooms, orange, I didn't like as a kid. And now as an adult, I might like them, but my body doesn't still. So the journey about what goes in my stomach got me on the ketogenic diet, got me looking at carbohydrates, it's sugar, the huge amount of sugar and processed foods and vegetable oils and stuff that we pour down our necks. So ditched all the grains, ditched all the bread, the pastas, the rice, the potatoes. And that got rid of my pot belly, it got rid of my indigestion, it got rid of my psoriasis, it got rid of my aches and pains. It was amazing. Thoroughly recommend it. I lost over a stone very quickly. That linked in with intermittent fasting. Never eat breakfast now. Normally do either an 18-6 diet. Sometimes I don't eat at all. Sometimes I eat just once a day. That sort of stuff. It's helped with mental clarity, physicality, lots of things. So that's what I was talking about in the first video. And actually, food cooked in butter and beef dripping tastes a whole lot better than vegetable oil, I can tell you. So the second one was kind of new things I'd adopted. I'd always thought maybe posture had things to do with migraine. Slouchy body posture, sat in a chair in the office every day. So I started going to the chiropractic to get my spine sorted out and my neck and shoulders sorted out, and that helped. It still does help. Carried on with the gym, of course, hitting the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I also bought a standing desk. It's low at the moment because I'm sat down, but I have an electric standing desk, which again helps posture. And I also started to take probiotics in the morning, help keep me regular. Again, I'm just thinking, what puts my body under stress? Does that body being under stress either in the stomach or in the skeleton or the muscle? Does that contribute to the migraine? And it seems to have helped. So still do all of that. But I also started getting into thinking more about the ketogenic diet, the fasting mimicking diets, because that's the thing now. What impact will that have on me in the future with the likes of cancers and dementia and that sort of thing? So both of those are in the family, and I'm very mindful that I've now got cousins who are starting to get ill. It's not just, my father's had cancer twice. So it's about prevention. And I'm thinking, well, okay, if I'm minding what I put in my body and how regularly it goes out of my body, what else can I do? And there's lots of stuff now on autophagy online about how your body eats itself, that if you're in ketosis and your body is eating fat and it starts to eat itself, and what it does is eats the old cells, the damaged cells, the cells that have changed, cancer cells, and the possible effects that has on the likes of Alzheimer's and dementia and cancer and all those sorts of things. So that kind of got me thinking. So that's where I was a year ago. Now today, it has been an unusual year for obvious reasons. Now, I'm still doing pretty much everything I've done previously. Still doing my fasting. It's 11 o'clock. I haven't had any breakfast. I probably won't have any lunch because I'm at home on my own today, working from home. So I probably won't eat until my wife and kids get back in this evening. So still do all of that. Still keep on the Mediterranean, the keto, the paleo, all those sorts of things. Minimise the carbs as much as I can. The gyms have shut though, so I've got a bench and 3 weights in the garage, dusted them off, so I'm still hitting my gym. But what happened last summer was that my daughter loves swimming. She's down the swimming pool 3 or 4 times a week ordinarily, but of course with COVID, the gyms are shut and the swimming pools are shut. So she started to swim in the river. And I never liked swimming. I don't like the thought of swimming in a pool in other people's pee and chlorine and all of that. But in the open air, in the sun, yeah. So I started to go with her. And we used to swim in the summer, and then we swam in the autumn. And then the water got below about 12 degrees, and my daughter says, "You're on your own now, Dad." She said, "See you in the spring." But I carried on, and I've carried on all through the winter. And it's now, say, the end of March, and I have swum every single weekend bar one, when the whole river, the field, the road, everything was flooded, and no, I wasn't doing it then. So I've been swimming, and the cold water impact really fascinated me. It is intense. It is. I've been down there where it's been ice on the bank. Getting changed, my swimming trunks froze to the bench. But you get such a mental clarity in the water. your body kind of goes into a shock. You have to sort of up to your waist, acclimatise for a bit with your hands in the water, calm down a bit, and then go for it. I have a float that's secured to my waist in case I get into trouble. My wife got me a cape, super warm cape for the winter to get changed in. And that cold water, it gives you such a mental clarity. You can think of nothing else apart from how cold it is. And so start to read up on what it all is. And there's a very famous guy now called Wim Hof. And he's a kind of a guru on the benefits of breathing techniques and cold water swimming. So read up and watched a lot of stuff about him. And although he comes across as a very intense sort of chap, there's a lot in there, I think. So I do the breathing techniques. I do the cold water swimming. I even have a paddling pool in the back garden now, and I'll be in there shortly for a quick. It's probably about 8 degrees in there. It was 8 yesterday, so so there seems to be thoughts around the benefits not only to your health now, but with potentially the cold water, the brain. It may well help with the likes of dementia and Alzheimer's. So very interested in that. And also when you go into the river, your body is under such stress. If you've got a bit of a fuzzy head and a tension headache, it goes because your body is just, yeah, all your muscle tension goes. And I'm sure it again contributes to inflammation and aches and pains. I think it's brilliant. But I also started to come across a guy called Andrew Huberman, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's a neurologist, and he chimes very closely with Wim Hof on cold water, on meditation, on breathing techniques to increase and decrease your heart rate and your stress. So I've started to do yoga nidra, Nidra, and that calms me down. So sort of stress things. Stress can be a trigger. Work is very stressful. That's been very, very good. So I thoroughly recommend the breathing techniques, the meditation, and the swimming now. Although with the swimming, you can drown, worst case scenario. So go with somebody who's used to it. Cold water is a shock, could give you a heart attack, could put you in spasm, whatever else. Don't do it because I'm doing it, do it because you decide to do it. But yeah, I'm pretty certain that's had an impact not only on migraine but on mental health. Normally in the winter my mood drops down and then comes up again in the spring, and my mood hasn't dropped all winter. I've been really upbeat all winter, annoyingly so. So thoroughly recommend that to help. The last thing, which is a bit naughty maybe, is cocodamol. I was at work about 4 months ago and I had a migraine come on, and I went for my triptan draw and thought, I left him at home. A colleague who has acute pain with arthritis, he has prescription painkillers. He gave me a couple of them. A bit trippy. I was a bit high. But the migraine went. And I think because it relaxed my shoulders down again, relaxed my neck, and the migraine went away. So I do now buy cocodamol or paracetamol with codeine over the counter. So it's a lot lower potency than what a friend has. But it just gives enough to, I think, remove a little bit of tension from the shoulders. And that really does help. So, like I say, I'm not a doc. If you go and buy drugs, you go and buy drugs. Nothing to do with me. Talk to your GP. So, in conclusion, here I am, 2.5 years in my migraine journey. I feel really well. And yeah, looking forward to the future. So please pick what you want out of what I've talked about. Look at the other people I've mentioned. Look at Dr. Andrew Huberman. Look at Wim Hof. Look at some of the other people I've spoken about. Jason Fung is massive on diabetes, weight loss and stuff with the fasting. Eleanor Gross, again, is all about migraine and keto. She was an acute migraine sufferer. She's done loads of work on there, which really chimes in with what I found. That's it. Good luck. And maybe see you in a year's time.